Welcome back, guys. This morning I'm going to be canning meatballs. Now I've already made them up and I added a fresh onion. You can use freeze-dried or just dehydrated onions, but I decided to go with the fresh onion and save my freeze-dried for long-term storage. Now the only thing I've added to these is some salt and my favourite seasoning. I use a Moroccan seasoning. I didn't use an egg and I don't use any breadcrumbs, okay, so that's not recommended. So these now will go into the oven, and I'm only going to cook these halfway, 2/3 of the way, and the rest will get cooked in the cooking process in the pressure canner. Now I'm going to be putting them in. Now I'm going to have a bit of flack with this, but that's okay. I'm putting them in store-bought jars, so commercial jars. So this one here, this one I've used. You've seen me do videos using these before, and I really like these long ones here, so I'm going to be using those. I do have some bowl jars, but to be honest, I really like the lug lids, and they seem to have no failures. So I'll get these into the oven and I'll bring them out once they're done, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm heating up some sauce. I'm going to be putting sauce in my meatballs today. Now, I have made them with no liquid at all, and they came out beautifully. I've also made them with a beef broth or a bone broth, your own bone broth that you make, or you can use store-bought, that's fine. The sauce, if you've got your own sauce, we made a fair bit this year and last year, and so I'm using that. But what I'm going to be doing also is I'm going to be adding some beef broth, and I'm going to thin it down. And I've checked it for seasoning, and if you need to add more seasoning, but we love them either way, whether they're with sauce or whether they're just on their own, and with the bone broth. If you've got them with the bone broth, you can make a lovely gravy, onion gravy, and we've done that and had them with mash and veggies on the side. So, but today I'm just going to do them with the tomato sauce, and these can be used over pasta, over rice, and even just mashed potato. They're absolutely lovely. We love them, and I've done them several times in the quart jars, but today I'm going to be using just pint jars. I find that that's enough for two of us, so I'll see how much I can get into the pint jars. Okay guys, so the meatballs have partially cooked and have cooled down. I've prepared my sauce, and what I like to do first, just put a little bit of sauce in the bottom of the jar, then put my meatballs in. Now these I normally can in the quart jars, and I usually get about 12 depending on the size of your meatball. But these are mainly for lunches. I like to do the meatball subs. So I've worked out that I can probably get 5 in a jar. So I'm happy with that, and there's only 2 of us, so more sauce on top. Leave 1 inch headspace. And I forgot my debubbler. So I'm going to debubble, get any bubbles out. You don't want to interfere with a good seal. So I'm happy with that. You can measure to see if you've got 1 inch headspace. That's perfect. Okay. So now I'm just going to take a napkin, dip it in some vinegar. Anytime I use meat, I use vinegar. And I'm going to wipe my rims. Now a lot of people don't like the vinegar on their lids. what I've always done is I just take another piece of napkin and I just go over that again and wipe off some of that vinegar if you're worried about it interfering with the rubber on your lids. I've never had a problem with it, to be honest. So again, lug lids. Now with lug lids, it's crank them down, screw them down. With ball jars, ball lids, or the other ones, 4-jar lids, you just finger tight. But here, these here, you crank these down, okay? So now that's ready to go into my canner, which is warm. My jars were warm and my sauce was warm as well, okay? So I've got a different jar this time. This is a pasta sauce jar, guys, you can use. And I'm hoping also, oh, I forgot to put my sauce in the bottom, but that's okay. There you go. So that's 2, 3, and this also depends on the size of your meatballs. So I've tried to make them small, but I'm Italian. We make things big. So I'll try and get that in. I'm happy with that. That's 5. So these are great when you're on the run. And if you get home from a day out and you don't feel like cooking, these are really, really good. So I'm going to debubble. I hope you can see that. I'm on my own today, guys. I've got no cameraman. I'm happy with that. That looks good. Yep. So again, vinegar. Now for pint jars, we will be pressure canning these for 75 minutes. Now if you were using your quart jars, 90 minutes, okay? So where's the lid? Here we go, lid. See? Beautiful, beautiful. Down, crank it, push that down. Just twist that on, okay? Move that out of the way so you can have a look. Another one, into the canner. So this is the 3rd jar that I wanted to show you. And what did I have in here? I'll just empty a bit of water I've got in there. I'll rinse them out. I think they were olives, stuffed olives. I'm making my own at the moment from our own trees. So the only downfall with some of them is you can't get your funnel on there. So you've got to be really careful. So a bit of sauce on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, a bit of a shake, 4, oops, I'm happy with that. That's 5, I'm happy with that. So I'll have to hold this and put the rest of the sauce in. Bit of a messy job today. There you go. And I've overfilled that, so not a problem. Let's get some sauce out. I'll have to push that one down, that one's sticking up a bit too much. Can't have that prevent my seal. There you go. Okay, so vinegar. Now I've gone out yesterday and bought some other jars with lug lids on. They were 1 litre. I didn't want to use them for this. I'm going to put my freeze-dried food that I do, and then I can get back all the other jars that I was using. The bowl jars, I like to can in my bowl jars if I'm doing just certain things. So, but to be honest, anything with a lug lid, there you go. I might just add a bit more sauce to that one. Cool. Wipe it off. See, make sure you get that on right. and give it a good squeeze down. So that's another jar. So 5 meatballs. So I'm going to get the rest of these done and into the canner, and then we'll move on. So I managed to fill 7 of the pint jars with 5 meatballs in each. So I'm really happy with that. So I have room in my canner for another 3 jars. The thing with using commercial jars, you can't double stack. So, but I can get 10 in. So now I've got some lovely lamb. And so I've cut it up into nice chunks. I don't like them too small. They tend to obliviate in there. But I've seasoned this. I have a video called Canning Meat 3 Ways. And in that video, because I was teaching beginners, I was trying to make it as simple as possible. And I said, look, you don't have to season it if you don't want to. And you don't have to. You can do that after. And it depends what you're using the meat for. So, but this time round, that's a nice big piece. This time round I have seasoned it with my favourite seasonings, and I have also put a couple of tablespoons of sauce that we use for the meatballs in the bottom of my jars. And I like to do that, and my son likes that. So I'm just going to fill them up. This is how easy it is, guys. It's so easy. Debubbler, push it down. You want to get the air pockets out. Now when I do my chicken also, I do the same thing. I can it without, depends what I'm using it for, or I do put some sauce down the bottom of the jar. And some people call it ugly chicken. Well, it doesn't look ugly when it's got a bit of sauce down the bottom. I don't think it's ugly. I don't think any canning is ugly because I just love it so much. You know, this is something that I could do, well, I do just about every day. You know, if there's something to be canned, you betcha, I'm going to can it. You know, preferably I like things from the garden that we've grown ourselves. I absolutely love that. So what I've done here, I've pushed down. You can see there's no air spaces. And just keep pushing it down, and this bottom ridge here, that works out to be about 1 inch. And I'll have a look. Perfect, that's 1 inch. And that's where I stop, okay? Because you don't want it to, it does make its own juices, and you don't want it to overflow. So again, meat, vinegar on a cloth, wipe my rims very, very thoroughly, okay? You want to seal. And then again, I take another piece and I go over that again. Okay? Get my lug lid. See? Beautiful. Just beautiful. Love them. Crank that down. Okay? Beautiful. And that goes into my canner. Now, I wanted to put some in these jars. Okay? I think they look great. I also put potatoes. I love my potatoes. I put potatoes in the tall jars like this. They look so good. They look so good. So I never tire of canning. I've taught quite a few ladies that were interested, and I'm more than happy to show anybody that's interested. I think it's a great skill to have. I think with what we're going through today, I think you're going to need it. So, pushing down, if I can get my debubbler down there, even better. So, and that just had a little bit of sauce down the bottom as well. Okay, let's get that down there. And I just want to leave 1 inch headspace there as well. Close enough. That's good. So, vinegar. In and out, and wipe your rims. Beautiful. And use this one. You're going to look lovely. And crank that down. Okay? There's another one. Beautiful. And guys, the fat. Do not leave the fat out. That is flavour. But not only that, in a situation where, let's say there's no more meat around, your body's going to need animal fat. Okay? I put fat in all my meat. Your body needs animal fat. Without animal fat, right, you lose muscle. If you lose muscle, your body's weak and death follows. Okay? Just think of the images of the Holocaust. They didn't feed them meat. Is that why they want to feed us bugs? Oh, I see. Right. But here you go. Put the fat in. It's good. Okay? So I'm just going to get this last one done. And they're all going into the canner. So all the jars are in the canner. And I also managed to get half a pint in there. So it's 10 pints and 1/2 pint. So I'm really happy with that. Now I'm heating this up slowly, and once I see a steady stream of steam, I'm going to time 10 minutes. Then after that 10 minutes, I'm going to pop on my weight over here, okay? And then once it comes up to pressure, and you need to check what elevation you are, I will time that for 75 minutes. So pints, 75 minutes. If you were doing quarts, that would be 90 minutes. So I've gone through all this process in other videos. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to let it do its thing, and I'll bring you back once I take the jars out. I've just taken the jars out of the canner, and they will sit here until tomorrow morning. I'll then wash them in soapy water and dry them, and then put them away on my shelf. 7 jars of meatballs in sauce and 4 jars with the lamb. So I'm really happy with that. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I really enjoyed canning them. Oh, there's a pop. They're sealing already. Thank you. Thanks for watching.